Hey guys, welcome back to Strong Successful Male. So for today, I'm going to go over an email that was sent from a subscriber. That's my guy. Sounds like he's in his very late 30s, about turning 40 soon. And he writes in sharing his story about events that happened like 20 years ago when he was ending high school and early college. And how, like so many of us, including me, made a lot of mistakes, was the typical white knight, nice guy. And learned the hard way that you can't be that way, whether it's now or 20 some years ago, that women are women, men are men, and it doesn't make a difference what time period it is. The lessons are all the same. And you're going to see the reason he was that way. One is because his mom and dad had an amazing marriage and relationship. They really loved each other. So I thought that's how things are. And this guy really spent a lot of time watching these ridiculous movies, romance movies, romantic comedies, and thinking that's how things are. Which, as many of you are well aware, that's not how things are. The movies are BS. And I gotta tell you guys, I have great respect for any of you guys that write in stories knowing darn well that you're gonna get made fun of in the comment section. Darn well I'm gonna smack you for being a bonehead. But I appreciate that because it takes balls. And you are doing a service helping guys out. And yes, I'm gonna give this guy shit, but it's for his younger self, and it's meant to help him in future guys. But this is yet another story about a white knight who's come to reality after a lot of experiences. And nowadays, although he's gaining this knowledge, he's going through a tough time right now, presently in this moment. And I'll give some good advice at the end to help him out, motivate him to get his life back on track. Because all of us go through periods of time where it seems like nothing goes right. Everything is just people you care about pass away, or you lose a job, all sorts of problems. When it rains, it pours. So he can definitely use some help. So he's writing and sharing this story to the community. And at the end, he's in a bad place, and I do my best to help him and motivate him, as I hope you guys can too. And you all know that those who've been through hard times and have survived, you all know you can stay strong, and eventually, but through hard work and perseverance and never giving up, you can turn things around for yourself. But you have to make the effort. You just can't expect it to just magically happen. It doesn't work that way. So anyway, I'm going to go through a story here. It says, hello SSM. I just want to say I'm watching you quite some time now, and even though I don't agree 100% with everything you say, I do think you're a nice guy and trying to help, and I do respect you. I don't expect everybody to agree with everything I say. Even people I admire, I don't agree with everything they say. That's okay. I've been contemplating for 2 months now whether writing my story would be healing or therapeutic in some way, as I'm sitting here writing you in a lot of emotional pain. Sorry for this, but I have to tell you my story, and I cannot go forward without getting this off my chest. I lost someone very dear to me, my mom, a few months ago. This, together with losing my dad a few years back, is the worst pain I've ever experienced, and I'm in a bad place altogether. The reason being that they were the best parents a son could ever ask for. They sacrificed a lot for me, and truth be told, they were the only people in the world who truly loved me unconditionally. So right now I'm at a loss, since I now have lost both of them, and I could really use some support. Well, bro, all guys will get support on this channel, so long as you don't act like a giant mangina. But if you act like a giant mangina, either in the comment sections or in your stories, you're going to get some heat. But at the end of the day, sometimes, let me rephrase that. A lot of times, guys need the tough love. They need the blunt, to the point feedback from other men who've been around the block. And honestly, a good smack upside the head now and again, because that's just how we are. But you got support here. The reason I'm mentioning this is because when I learned their love story together, with the values they taught me, plus the fact that I love to watch all the silly Hollywood romance movies, smack, that's part of your freaking problem. Plus my character, huge nerd and introvert and shy to the extreme, caused me to become the biggest white knight out there. Yep. Watching those movies gets guys to be white knights, plus they just have nobody to really teach them reality. My best friend, who you can say is an R-pill guy and older, says I have a Jesus complex as I try to save everyone. Well, you don't need to save everyone. You need to save yourself. You are the most important person in your life. I have an infinite amount of really crazy out-of-the-world stories I can write to you about, since I have been through hell in my life and have learned finally how to not be taken advantage of. And also, I seem to have a sixth sense about women and their BS. I would like to tell my story to help others. Again, sorry for the long intro. I hope you can indulge me for a little bit. It says, in order to give you the best understanding for the way I turned out, I have to tell you how my mom and my mother met, since it can easily had been made into a Hollywood movie. And that made together with my dad making me a promise that I would never make a woman cry or take drugs when I was 12, was the reason for me being the biggest white knight out there. He says, first of all, we are not from the USA, and this takes place in Europe in the 1970s. Now he's going to go into this whole thing about his parents, and I'm going to skip this. I don't mean to disrespect the guy, but it's a longer story, so I want to get onto the main stuff. But the point is, his parents had a very happy marriage, and there was romance and all that stuff. It could have been made into a movie. So because he saw his parents like that, he believed, hey, I can have this, and that's how the world is, and it is not. So let me just skip over this part here about the mom and dad. Okay, now on to the main story. He says, what should I tell you about? My first relationship. So we're going to go through a whole history of his white knighting and all that, and where he went wrong, what he learned, and backing up everything I say. A girl that cheated on me is the worst possible way. The time I was dating a gal who turned out to be engaged. Days away from being married, and I was the side piece. Yeah, that would mess with your head. The time after that, being in a relationship with a girl after 3 months, and she told me she was an escort or bisexual. Or perhaps the time I went on a date recently, and my date's dad literally died while we were on the date. Not to mention about another 5 to 10 other stories that are crazier than these. How do you know he died? Was the date maybe going bad and she didn't like you, so she just said, oh my God, it's my sister, my dad died, and did anything to get out of the date? No offense, but they do that. I will tell you about my first relationship today. He says, starting from senior high school, I was a huge nerd. Dude, I kind of figured that. Really shy, I was in love with the same girl all 3 years of senior high school, an amazing redhead that unfortunately was involved with drugs and was really toxic. No, never. Due to this, I never told her I was in love with her, and even though I was a good-looking guy, smart and also in peak physical condition, I passed all opportunities to even kiss a gal until I was 19, only to daydream being with her. Smack! Smack for that, and smack for you want to profess your love to this girl? That's the bullshit you see in the movies. You never do. She would run away for the freaking hills thinking you're a stalker. Oh, I love you. Showing up with flowers and chocolates like Forrest Gump or something like that. What the fuck? That's bullshit in the movies. You need to stop watching those movies, dude, if you haven't done so already. It says, note to self and other guys out there, don't hit the gym for anyone else's sake other than improving yourself, not to impress a chick. After I went to university, unfortunately, I did put a bit of weight on, and unfortunately for me, due to my family genetics, I started losing my hair and my confidence shuddered, and I got locked away in a shell and even more shy than before. Some people lose their hair early. I knew a dude in martial arts who was 19 years old and was going bald. And you know what he did? He just buzzed that hair and he looked like he had the Jason Statham look, and it worked for him. And he said he put on some weight. Okay, a lot of people tend to do that when they start college, freshman 15. All right, join a gym, get your diet in order, drop the pounds, then there you go. You know, as you have to change your lifestyle. Although I was a good student and had a really wealthy uncle paying all my expenses for university, I made the mistake to want to prove to him and my dad that I don't need them and can make my own money, and found a job at a nightclub as a video DJ. I made some pocket money back then, which was actually quite good, and I used to always wear a hat to hide my balding hair, and was really starting to fall behind with my studies and social life due to bullying. Shave that head, don't wear a hat, don't be afraid, own it, dude, end of story. And I don't have no problem you working to make your own money. That's a good thing, that's a good quality. Unfortunately, SSM, kids are really mean. I got a lot of bullying back then, and that really effed me up for life. Bullying will do that to people. That's why young guys need to learn. All young guys should be in martial arts or some kind of self-defense to learn to fight back, and have a role model, a father, to help guide you. You said you had a great dad, but it sounds like he didn't help you as much as you need in that department to stand up for yourself. Because bullying will affect you as a child. It will impact your whole life. One night while working in the club, my bestie, who happened to be a girl at the time, smack, best friend's a girl, no, introduced me to her bestie, a girl named Ina. Fake name for the sake of the story. Ina was a cousin to one of the gals I was working at the club, and she literally fell hard for me. Literally followed me after the club, closing and making me feel really wanted at the time. Sounds like she was love bombing you. So yeah, I fell for her hard and we made out a bit, but I was still a virgin and nothing more than that. Since she also lived in another city, she left a few days later and I never saw her again, but I couldn't get her out of my head. Of course, because you haven't been laid yet. And I was the only girl that probably really paid attention to you like that. So of course you're going to become obsessed with her, because that's what they show in the fucking movies. Anyhow, after a few days, I got the balls to ask for her number. I called her and confessed that I was in love, and she reciprocated. Smack. More movie bullshit. No, you can call her up and invite her out for a freaking date, something cheap and inexpensive. Have a good time and hang out, see where things lead. And then let's just say you started dating and hooking up, of course. And then down the road, maybe she tells you she loves you, and then you can then say something along those lines, but tone it down. You don't just profess your love to her after meeting her at the club and kissing her. For God's sakes, dude. I know you know this now, at least I hope you know this, but your story's meant for me to react this way and teach others that might say, make the dumb white knight, nice guy bullshit. God's sakes. She was also a bartender/waitress and a makeup artist. Big red flag, and she lived in a nearby town. If you think nurses are bad, waitresses and bar women are even worse. No shit. I worked in restaurants for years in the end of high school and college. I know exactly what you mean. I never get involved with a waitress bartender. You know why? Because I see what goes on behind the scenes, or actually right in front of the scenes. I've had many fun times with waitress and bartenders, so yes, I know this. I remember while on meeting in the club, the owner said to the girls, always look available to the customers to keep them coming back, even if you have a boyfriend or husband. You can imagine how well this went and how many times guys who were boyfriends and husbands got cheated on due to every single one of those pretty gals being hit on, since they all loved the attention and money they cheated. All right, exactly. That's how they make their money, flirting and all that stuff, leading guys on. Anyway, back to Ina. She would come every month for a few days and stay with my bestie, and we would go on dates, and she'd wait for me with my bestie to finish work in the club to go home together and make out. But for some reason, she wouldn't have sex with me even though she was older. She was 21 and I was 18, which was a bit weird. You weren't having the sex because you weren't doing enough for her. But this girl, yes, you had your best friend that was a girl, and that's obviously many issues in itself. She could have been someone you practiced with. End of story. She's no one to get serious with. That's it. Nothing more. Also, even though I asked her to stay with me during her visit, she wouldn't and would prefer to stay with her friend instead. He says, I know, I was such an idiot. Anyhow, 2 months go by, and as a nice white knight for her name day, I gave her an amazing gift. A silver bracelet with precious gems. And we finally had SCX for the first time, and yeah, like you always say, the hot carousel riders are crazy in bed but really psycho, which I found out shortly after. So, did you lose your virginity to her, or had you lost your virginity already? But she was probably, like me, the second girl you slept with. Because I have a hard time believing if you lost your virginity to her, that it was so amazing. You probably were done in 30 seconds, you know? So at the time, it was the Christmas holidays, and I was supposed to go back home for Christmas for the first time after me going to university to see my family. But since Ina called me to say she found a way to spend Christmas together by transferring to my city, I canceled those plans to return home, and thus making my mom and dad really sad, something I'll forever feel bad about doing. Smack! You never change your plans for a chick, let alone just some broad who's a waitress bartender who has a reputation and all that. You don't do that for a gal. You don't do that, honestly, for anybody. You're going to go see your parents for Christmas and you have an amazing relationship with them. You go, I'll see you when I get back. Maybe you can come up and stop by. Maybe I'll have some free time. Not, I'll drop everything I'm doing, change all my plans to be with you. That's not going to be attractive to her. But that's more bullshit you see in the movies. And the movies, she'll love you even more for that type of behavior. No. You do what you want. And she comes last. Because they chase after the guys that do that. And it's not like you were serious or anything. Instead, I stayed and she came to work, and I also stayed to work in the club for the holidays so we could have Christmas and New Year's together. Oh, how sweet. Christmas was amazing, and we ended up leaving the club. Me and her and our bestie at about 5 o'clock in the morning. But since our bestie was really drunk, we ended up having to take her home and make sure she was okay. After we go there, my girlfriend suggests we stay over to hers, as she was really wasted, and there was only one bedroom with 2 beds, really close to one another in a small room. Gee, I wonder where this is going. She goes to sleep at one of the beds, and we go to the other. And of course, we fool around a bit, but since I'm really shy, and there is our bestie sleeping next to us, I asked my girlfriend to stop so that we don't get noticed by her. Our minds are all in the gutter here, thinking what could have happened if he played his cards right, at least in that moment. But here's the problem. She's really excited, wants me to F her, and doesn't care. She says it's fine, bestie is out, and won't wake her up. Another red flag if you ask me, considering what happened next. Dude, this girl is she's not girlfriend material. She's a piece of ass that you nail. End of story. And she wants to hook up with you with your friend, your good-looking friend next to you. Hey, you never know what may happen. I was young and excited as well, so even though I was really shy, we started doing it. Until I saw my bestie woke up and watching us lustfully. I don't have to give you an idea what happened next, but as you can imagine, the thing was, I was more like a passenger and they were the drivers. Newsflash, obviously they were lovers. They probably would fool around together, and you just happened to be at the right place at the right time and got to fool around two chicks. Although this is still, you never know. Every dog has his day, as the saying goes. Right place, right time. So you got to have a freaking threesomething. Hey, whatever. You got to have fun. A story for the grandchildren. You were young. Who cares? But that girl wasn't girlfriend material. Never in 1,000 years back then would I have thought that I would have a threesomething like that. But then, as fun as it was also weird, and as sad for me, as after I left them in the house the next day. I was wondering, since I was always a hopeless romantic and a relationship guy, how can she share me like that? How could she so easily do that with her bestie, drunken or not? Because she's not girlfriend material. And I guarantee you they've been fooling around for years. And dude, welcome to reality. It's not the movies. You're trying to be, as again, the white knight with the bad girl. It doesn't work that way. Hell doesn't work with the nice girls. So after that, I talked with a really good friend of mine from another club who worked there as a waiter, a dude. You were talking to a guy, good, and told him to have an eye out in case my girlfriend or bestie ever showed up there as a precaution. Unfortunately for me, the worst possible day on New Year's Eve, as I was having a blast, my friend visits me around 4 a.m. in the club that I'm working in, only to tell me to brace myself as Ina and our bestie were in the nightclub, and Ina was, wait for it, sitting on some other guy's lap as she was introducing him as her fiancé from her city. There you go. That's why I told you it's not girlfriend material. Every guy has to learn at some point the hard way, have their heart broken, learn that these movies and their hopeless romantic nonsense is nonsense. My heart broke into 1,000 little pieces and I felt like a fool. Well, you were a fool, but you know what? You had to learn. I couldn't believe I didn't go visit my mom and dad and stayed there for that pitch like that. But I also had to see for my own eyes, and I did, even though I wish I had not. The next I remember, I was walking in the snow, tears in my eyes, walking by church and going in to ask God if I'm a fool. You didn't have to ask the Lord if you're a fool. He was probably like, hey, dude, I showed you all the warnings and you ignored them. I was back at home at 5 a.m, and my girlfriend also found out I knew everything after she visited the club and didn't find me there and was told I knew everything. She came to my house, I barricaded myself inside and was crying my heart out, and she kept begging me to let her in to explain. This is decades ago. Same freaking things from the Hobag handbook. Let me explain. The noise woke up the neighbors, and since I wouldn't answer after 45 minutes, she left, but I had like 50 missed calls and messages on my phone. I didn't sleep that day or the next. I found the fastest way to take a bus and fly back home, and did only to ask my mom and dad to forgive me and explain the situation to my dad. I'm glad you left. I'm glad you tried to salvage things with your parents. But your parents are good parents, and they're going to know you're young, and you're going to make mistakes, And if they love you, they'll understand, and, you know. We were all best friends, and he always had my back. And he helped me forget about her. 2 weeks later, I was back at my university with a new phone number and 0 fucks for Ina. Good. Now, it's awesome to have a great relationship with mom and dad, but clearly your dad, I don't mean to disrespect his memory, but there are things your dad definitely should have done to help you out, preparing you for reality, particularly with the ladies. But then again, your dad also struck gold with your mom, so I can see where you thought that that's how things were, and they really were not. Although, to be honest, I was still hurting a lot, and I knew she was a cheater. I even saw my bestie, who, as it turns out, was covering Ina while she was cheating on me, and she had the nerve to ask me how my holiday was, and that Ina was worried sick about me. And, well, I gave her a nice speech and embarrassed her in front of all my friends and left. Shortly after, I saw her Ina closing in on me, and she called back, but thank God I managed to lose her. So this girl, so-called best friend of yours, guess what? Was selling you down the river. She was covering for Ina while she was cheating on you. But then again, I really have to, maybe I missed something here, but Was their action official, we are an exclusive type of deal, or did you think you were in an exclusive relationship with her? But regardless, your so-called bestie girlfriend was not your friend. She was taking the side of the other one. And obviously they were fooling around because it wasn't like the first time they did that. But let's look at the bright side here. You got to have a threesomething and you were only like 18, 19 years old with a couple of hot chicks. You know? Let's take that. You can remember that one. Even though pretty much you were there kind of like, what the fuck do I do? I want to say I had the last laugh and came out on top and found another amazing gal. But no, I had terrible trust issues. I didn't date another gal for 2 years and totally effed me up for good. That type of thing really hurts, guys. And you know what? If you can walk out of a situation like that wiser, great. But I don't want you to let any gal damage you for life. Just let her help wake you up into reality and you protect yourself. And then you enjoy your life. Also, as a cherry on top, in the summer when I got back home, the cute redhead from my senior high school happened to mix in with my friends, and I had to see her every day along with her abusive, drug-addicted scumbag boyfriend. Oh, imagine that. The smoking hot girl from high school has some low life as a boyfriend. Gee, who would have thought? One night, after a nice night out, me and my friend were walking a dark street on the way back home, and we see her and her boyfriend arguing really bad in the alley, and him hurting her. So yeah, there I was, blood boiling and watching what I thought was the most beautiful girl in the world getting the crap beaten out of her. I saw red, and even though I'm really shy and a pacifist type of guy, I also was raised by my dad with the saying, do whatever you want to me, but harm someone I care about and you are dead. So I charged and kicked the other guy's butt really bad. So it was one of these deals where you were probably just so infuriated with rage, you just lunged on the guy and kicked his ass. So I'm finally thinking she'll notice me. It's finally my time to steal her heart by saving her. Smack! Smack the younger you. Yeah, more of this movie's bullshit. He goes, yeah, I know, smack, smack, smack. But no, SSM, you know what she told me? Who the F do you think you are? Why the F are you interfering with us? Her low-life, drug-addicted boyfriend is getting physical, and you step in to save the day, and she yells at you for that. Big surprise. I was frozen. I felt empty. And in 3 seconds, this girl shattered all the love I had for her. It made me feel like an idiot. It was a good lesson, though. All the love you had for her. How about the obsession, the infatuation, dude? I want to go back in a time machine and smack the shit out of you to teach you some goddamn lessons. I know you know this now. At least I hope you do. Unfortunately, I still kept being damn stupid and white knight Jesus for many years until I finally decided enough is enough. You know, people make mistakes, okay, fine. But they keep making the same mistakes over and over again. The suffering they endure, that's their fault because they just keep making the same mistakes. So here I am after 20 years, nearing 40s, in a dark place, having one of the worst years of my life. Betrayed by a bad employer, hit by bad luck, and losing my mom from a sudden heart attack in my arms. I really wish I could say that things are getting better. I feel like I'm just surviving right now, taking it one day at a time. Cursing my bad luck and wishing I had a time machine to get back in time to fix everything. But since I can't do that, here I am trying to give back to you guys and you SSM, as your videos have been a nice distraction from my shitty life. Well, bro, I want to help you with that. Let me finish this. Thank you for taking the time to read this, and I hope I didn't tire you with all the silly details. Even if you never post this, I want to write to you anyway to say hi, and it felt good writing this to someone, as I have no one I can really talk to right now. Not a friend or family I can turn to and speak my heart out to. Like I said, this goes well. I can send you the second part, which will be in my series of unfortunate events, which entails a whole lot of crazy, stupid, unbelievable things that happened to me over the years, and some advice to help guys with red flags and pitfalls they might encounter. I appreciate that, but you don't have to, dude. You made it abundantly clear. You made a lot of mistakes, and we're here to help you. Which I hope will be useful, blah, 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 coming from an ex-white knight. Thank you again for your time. I really wish everyone an amazing 2024, good health to you and your loved ones, and to make sure you cherish them, as the time you have with them is precious. Kind regards, G. Well, G, okay, you made a lot of mistakes when you were young, and clearly those mistakes continued on, but you've learned reality. Right now, it sounds like you're in a really bad place. Mom's gone, dad's gone, lost your job, all those things. Okay. 2023 is a shitty fucking year. We all have shitty years. Sometimes we have shitty many years back to back. But where things go forward all depend on you. Either you're going to just wallow in misery and say, this is my lot in life, or say, fuck it, I'm not going to allow this shit, and start taking action in 2024 to better your life. Okay? You said in the past you were a shy, introverted guy. Well, if you were working as a DJ in a club, you couldn't have been that shy. or whatever. And if you are shy, I want you to start taking action every day going forward to improve your social skills. Wherever you go, talk to people. Grocery store, CVS, the bank, I don't care where the hell you go. Just chat people up. Hi, how's your day going? Anything to talk to anybody. If you're not comfortable talking to certain types of people, talk to people who you are comfortable with. Old ladies, old men, I don't care who. And then as time goes on, your confidence grows. Talk to more people. Work on your social skills. You'll feel better. When you do that, I want you to start going to places, doing things you enjoy, maybe making some new friends. Great place to make friends is joining a martial arts school, as all guys should learn how to fight. That's how I made a lot of friends back in the day. And you always have to work with a partner to do your martial arts training. And you ask people 2 questions. What got you into martial arts? How long you been here? And they'll start talking away because people always talk about themselves. The point is, get out there, socialize, hang out with people, make friends. I want you to join a gym, or if you're not doing a martial arts thing, exercise regularly, and you'll feel better about yourself. The exercise, you'll get your body in shape, you're moving around, and the exercise releases the endorphins to make you feel good. And I want you also to start pursuing your goals and any things you like. You lost your job, or maybe right now you have a job you don't like. Do something to get a better job. Do what you do now to pay the bills, and something else better to move things along. Okay? Improvement. I don't want you, there's no people wallowing in misery in this channel. I want you guys to make something yourselves. We all go through hardships, but if you're not going to do anything to fix it, I don't want to hear any motherfucking complaining. Okay? And things will get better. And make a goal. Just try to make some improvement a little bit every day in some capacity. Write your goals down so you can see your goals wherever you are. In your notebook, in your journal, on the fridge, in the medicine cabinet, in the car, wherever. So you can see these goals and you're always on your mind to better yourself. And you will get better. You got trust issues? No, pretty much everybody in this channel that watches this does. It's understandable. Okay, fine. You want to get laid now and again? Well, you take all this knowledge you've gained through your own bad experiences and things you learn in here, and use that power for good to help yourself. I wouldn't waste your time with even thinking about getting married nowadays. You need to stop watching all those stupid romantic comedy movies that you watched when you're younger. I'm assuming you're done with that crap because they were all bullshit. And you watch enough of those things, it's going to brainwash you to think a reality that you think is reality is not. You'll think a reality that's not reality is reality. So there's a lot of things you can do. You made a lot of mistakes when you're younger, but you were young. We all make mistakes. I made a lot of mistakes when I was younger and learned the hard way. That's why I do what I do. I was a typical dumbass, clueless, nice guy, and I watched plenty of the romantic comedies when I was younger too. And I learned. If I can turn around, you can turn around. And that's that. So I want you to have a great 2024, and you can make it happen. And that's really as far as I can go with this whole thing. So I appreciate your story. Once again, proving don't white knight for the girls. Learn reality. And you're going to help other guys out there. So, bro, I wish you all the best, and really make an effort to make things better for yourself starting today. Not next week, not tomorrow, today. Every day do something to fix your situation and make your life better. All right, guys, that's it for today. Be sure to comment down below. Let this guy know what you think. Really give him a shout out. Give him some support. Yes, he did a lot of boneheaded things, but he was a lot younger. And let's be honest, a lot of us did not have the role models we needed, or didn't want to listen to the ones that we have. And be sure to like the video, share it with your friends, and subscribe. I'll catch you next time.